Hey, what's going on, y'all? It's your boy YouTube Blue coming back at you again. How y'all doing today on this wonderful Friday afternoon? It's nice and warm here in the DMV, and everybody gonna be enjoying the weekend. So I just want to talk quickly about my thoughts on All or Nothing, the Cowboys edition. So I finally seen the whole thing, beginning to end, and I learned some things that I didn't know, and it also clarified some things for me that I thought before, that I had on my mind before, because you already know I think outside the box, and the way that I think is different than a lot of people think. You know, because again, there is so many different ways to view different situations, whether it's more than one side of every story. You know what I mean? So whenever you see people do certain things or make certain decisions based on stuff, there's always a rhyme or reason for it. And it's not always what they say it is, and it's not always what it looks like in person, or what it looks like, you know, from when you're not at arm's reach, that is. Because as fans, we're not in that locker room. We don't see what the Cowboys are doing 24/7. We don't know what happened and what is said when the cameras go off. We don't know. So All or Nothing kind of shows a little more about some of the things that you wouldn't see that happens. Now, again, they know the cameras are rolling, so they're themselves, but also they may not spew every single thing. There's always going to be something that you're going to miss. So I'm going to start with Jason Garrett. Now, a lot of you guys hate Jason Garrett. Me personally, I don't hate him. I just feel like he has to do a better job of managing this team and doing better as a whole, so we can make this team better. I mean, this is now going to be his 8th season as the Cowboys coach, and at this point right now, it's put up or shut up. And if you can't produce as a coach, you can't expect your players to follow suit. Now, one thing Jason Garrett has always been good at is getting the players to follow his philosophy. Now, I like Garrett more as a motivational speaker than I do a head coach, because his ability to speak to a player and to reach out to these young guys are impeccable. I give him that. In my opinion, Jason Garrett is a Monday through Saturday coach. Basically, what he does is he sets a game plan, or he sets the game plan what he expects his coordinators and his other coaches, his assistant coaches, to implement during the week for the game. So what Jason Garrett does is he basically lays that groundwork. He tells the players what his week-to-week philosophy is and what he expects to go on at that given time, depending on what's going on that week, and he expects them to execute it. So on Sundays, when we're seeing Garrett on the field, we just look at it like, okay, well, all he's doing is clapping. But he did all his work when the cameras weren't rolling in the middle of the week. He lets his coordinators and his assistant coaches do the coaching on Sundays, which is normally what you would do as a head coach. But with a lot of other teams, a lot of head coaches, because they're good at certain things, say if you got a defensive-minded coach, or if you have an offensive-minded coach, or if you have a special teams-minded coach, depending on what skill set that coach does, he may lean more heavily to what he likes as far as what he's good at. Like, for instance, when Wade Phillips was our coach, he's a defensive-minded coach. In my opinion, he was a better defensive coach than he was a head coach. Now, Jason Garrett is an offensive guy. He's a quarterback. He's a former quarterback. So his concentration is more going to be on the offense, the line, the quarterback, the wide receivers, you know, things of that nature. So again, when Jason Garrett was calling the plays, everybody was like, oh, Jason Garrett calling the plays. So then when he stopped doing that and let his coordinators and stuff run the plays and do that other stuff, then that's when everybody was like, oh, but Jason Garrett don't seem like he's doing nothing. He's just a clapper. He's just this and that. Now, one thing about Jason Garrett, I will say, he has multiple sides of him. Mind you, this guy is smart. He graduated from Princeton University. But if you hear how he talks to the team, you would think that he has a limited vocabulary because he drops a lot of F-bombs. Like my boy DMV Dallas Cowboys says, that boy dropped a lot of F-bombs. And he does. He says the F word. I mean, if you watch All or Nothing, he says the F word. Every other daggone word is the F word. But, I mean, that's the way that he gets to his players. I mean, that line about the Italian sub, I don't know why I laughed so hard. But I was laughing hard as I don't know what, because the visual of him doing that was hilarious to me. But Jason Garrett digs in these players' asses, pause, when the cameras are not rolling. His real self, when he's coaching his team or when he's in the film room getting these players to understand what he expects every week, and when he's disappointed in these players, he definitely lets them know how he feels about them. He does that. I mean, he doesn't just sit back and clap. He don't clap during the week. He only clap during the game time because the cameras are on him, and he doesn't want to be that guy that's, because again, if you played football before, you understand, especially as a player, you understand that, like, a lot of times when you're getting yelled at during the game, that's not going to help your maturation. That's not going to help you succeed or get better or learn from what you just did. Most coaches, what they do is not necessarily coddle you, but they'll let you know, like, hey, you did that wrong. This is what you need to do better next time. Not yelling and cursing at you in your face during the game, embarrassing you in front of millions of people. No, they're not going to do that. You can clearly see, even though this was like for last season, you can clearly see, as far as the whole Dez thing and everything that was going on, you can tell that the team was moving to a different direction. I can't fault Dez Bryant for showing a lot of his passion, because Dez Bryant is a passionate player. He loves the game of football, and he loves the Dallas Cowboys. He said on numerous occasions that he wanted to be a Cowboy for life. He never wanted to not be on this team, but, you know, he allowed his passion to overcompensate for his actual gameplay, which caused him to drop balls. Now, granted, all those balls that were thrown to him weren't great balls, but the ones that he should have caught, he did not. And the frustration is, you know, the coaches just want you to shut up and play. You know, Dez be out there on the field, you know, saying this and saying, there's nothing wrong with that, you know, showing passion, long as it's not being a cancer to the team, long as you're not hindering other players as far as concentrating on the game. Dez Bryant on numerous occasions allowed other players from other teams to change how he felt. He allowed them to make him feel like they made him flustered, and which messed up his game. You see when they play the Raiders, you can see when you watch it, like, he just kept saying over and over again, oh, y'all just gonna double team me? Y'all just gonna double team me? Well, look, run more than a couple of routes, man. Switch to the slot. Do something, you know, move around the field like their cornerbacks do when they check you. They're not always on one field. You as a wide receiver, you got to know multiple routes. If you want to be elite, you got to know multiple routes. You got to know multiple plays. You can't just sit there and just expect to keep doing the same thing over and over again, because players gonna know you, and they're gonna be like, oh, well, if we double team over here, they ain't going over here because there ain't nothing over here. Everybody knows that the Cowboys keep doing the same thing over and over again, and that's one thing that we got to get out of, that traditional stuff. We got to get away from that traditional stuff, because I'm not saying that there's nothing wrong with it, but this is 2018, and these defenses ain't playing now. These teams got exotic defenses, and covering up what they're doing, and you have to learn how to counteract that. You know, they always say that, you know, you take what the defense gives you, but at the same time, you have to also go out there and punch that defense in the mouth as an offense and let them know that you're going to run that ball down their damn throat. So I just feel like too many times this past season when Ezekiel Elliott was suspended all that time, they kind of gave up a little bit. And I don't know if they didn't have the same energy when Ezekiel Elliott left, when he was on suspension or what, but, you know, next man up. Now, I feel like Alfred Morris did do good. Rod Smith did really good, but they didn't use them enough. They could have made them more of a 1-2 punch, like I think it was the Redskins game when they both scored. Okay, that's fine. Keep that up. Rod Smith, I think, had like 5 touchdowns last season, and that solidified himself a job for this year. So, again, these players have to realize that if you want to stay on this team going forward, ain't no messing around. You got to keep it moving. You got to get stuff together. Nobody got time to be sitting back and waiting for you to get your life together and this and that, because, again, just like in regular life, when you got a regular job, you get laid off or something, you better figure it out, because the bills don't stop. Just like in the NFL, what have you done for me lately? You better get your butt out there and catch that ball. You better get out there and throw that ball. You better get out there and block. Whatever your assignment is, get out there and do it. Don't mess around. Don't play. It's not a game. You're in the pros now. You know, and Dez been in the league for 8 years, and I just don't understand why it took him so long to figure out that, okay, well, maybe I need to learn some more type of routes, better route running. Bro, you should have been done that. I will say to Dez's credit, though, that his heart was in the right place, but the way he expressed it was, I guess the team couldn't handle it. It was kind of nerve-wracking to them. And if you watch All or Nothing, you can see that, like, Jason Garrett was getting frustrated with him. Stephen Jones was getting frustrated with him. Even Will McClay was like, this guy is not what he used to be. What's going on? Now, I understand that some of that is Dak. And, you know, like I said, this is Dak's football team now. We have to rally around Dak and help him to be better, because, and I'll get into that too, but Dak has to continue to do his job and do better. And whenever stuff break down, you got to keep it moving. It's like being an actor in a theater play. It's not like film where you can be like, cut, and start over. There's no cut. You mess up, you got to keep spewing it out and keep churning, keep working, and you keep getting better, because that's the only way that's going to work out. Now, I feel like that the writing was on the wall while watching this, that, like, you can tell that certain players were going to be gone by just their body language and some of the things that they said. Like Orlando Scandrick, for one. You'll see throughout the episodes of All or Nothing, he was like, it was one thing where he was in there, he was talking to the players, and he was just like, hey, you know, he stood up after the meeting and was like, look, if we all don't get better, we all gonna be looking for another job next season. And it's ironic that he said that, because he ended up requesting to be released. I guess Orlando Scandrick got tired of the same old thing. And you could look at some of these players and be like, yo, can we be creative? Can we do something else? The players, you got some of the players that know not to say nothing, because they're like, look, if I say something, I might get cut. I'm not trying to get cut. So they're looking at it like, hey, I'm just going to sit here. I'm going to shut my mouth. I'm going to do my job, and I'm going to do what I got to do just so I can stay having a job. But Orlando Scandrick, he was like, nah, man. It was one game at the end where he came over there and he was like, said something. I don't want to spoil it for you guys that haven't seen it, but I'm just saying a couple of lines, basically. But Orlando Scandrick was just basically like, he walked over to the defense during the game, was like, so we just going to Are we in cover two? What are we doing? We're just gonna let the quarterback run all outside the pocket and not get him? Like, what are we doing? So, you could see the frustration in him, which is probably another reason why he was like, you know what, bump this, man. I done 10 years in this league for this team. I'm tired of the mediocrity. I'm tired of the same old. And Orlando Scandrick was like, well, hey, release me. If you guys won't listen and keep doing the same dry offense and defenses, hey, I don't want to be a part of that no more. And look, Orlando Scandrick, I mean, he comes off as Oscar the Grouch, but hey, at the end of the day, that's his opinion, and that's how he felt. Now, I think it's credited he just was like, oh, and then signed with the Redskins like a day later, but it is what it is. You know what happens when our players go to the Redskins? They don't bust a damn great. And half the time they trying to come back, or they just retire. And I'm pretty sure Orlando Scandrick probably going to get hurt again and not even play next year. So it is what it is. But that was that. And then there was just the attitude of the receiving core in general. Like, if you look in the wide receiver, when they were sitting in the wide receiver rooms and having their receiver meetings, nobody was really talking except for Dez. And Dez just doing this and bumping his gums. Whether it's a positive or negative, sometimes that wears a toll on some people on the team. And they just be like, dog, will you shut the hell up? And, some people don't want to hear all that. They was like, look, let's get this game plan together and get out there and work. Now, Ezekiel Elliott. You can look at Ezekiel Elliott during this show and you can see, like, when we're watching the games on TV, you can't see everything that's going on the sideline or what they're saying, because the TV camera doesn't pick up the personal mics of these people, whether they're mic'd up or not. But Ezekiel Elliott, you can see throughout that process of him going through the 6-game suspension last season, and you can see how frustrated he was, how stressed out he was. He came to practice late, and Gary Brown came to him and was like, man, what's going on with you? What's going on with you? He's like, man, I'm just stressed the hell out. And then Gary Brown can't do nothing but basically, hey, I'm here for you, man. You want to talk about it? Let's air this out, because, I know there's a tough situation for you, but, we'll get through it one way or another. And I appreciate the fact that they backed up Ezekiel Elliott and they were on his team instead of being against him, because with a young player like that, you don't want his mind to go over here. You want his mind to be right here. You want to be there. You want to make sure that everything that he's doing makes sense. You understand what I'm saying? So you want his interactions to be positive with the team, because when he comes back to the facility, boom. When he did his training in Mexico or whatever hell else he did down there, when he came back, when that first day he came back, wasn't no joke, he came back and he dapped everybody that he saw in the hallway. He shook hands with everybody on the team, and then the team was happy to see him. They're like, hey, welcome back, champ, But, that's got to be a crazy thing to go through, especially a young 21, 22-year-old player coming out of the draft, and then you got to deal with that. And I mean, like, I just feel like all that controversy, not even just that, but the national anthem bull and the controversy around that, and the whole Jared Jones and Roger Goodell stuff. Like, last season was hella distractions. I'm actually surprised that we even went 9-7 because of everything that goes on. Technically, if you want to say it, we 8-8, because that Eagles game kind of don't count because they were playing their second string and we still struggled on them. That shows you how, I hate to say this, but that shows you how good, that shows you how good that defense was. And with the Eagles, and how they were just able to just maul people and shut them down. And I don't like to give them their credit, but they won the Super Bowl and they did the damn thing. That because they had depth on their team and they had everything running on the court. And like I said, Doug Peterson had that team on lock. And this is what we need to do for next season. And I feel like maybe Jason Garrett, to make a change, maybe Jason Garrett has to take a little bit more of the strain back instead of putting it all on his offensive coordinator. Now, I'm not going to say that Linehan sucks, but I need Linehan to be a little bit more creative. let's not forget he was Matt Stafford's offensive line coach. Offensive play coach before he was with the Cowboys. And the Lions did decent. I mean, they ain't win no Super Bowls, but I mean, it is what it is. And you can tell that a lot of these players have a lot of issues with the coaching decisions. A lot of them just don't say nothing. Let me take it back a little bit. When Tony Romo was here, you know he didn't like what was going on as far as the decisions that the coaching staff made. But guess what? He looked at it like this: I'm gonna go in there and run my offense like I run it, and I'm gonna change plays and I'm gonna audible in and out of stuff if I want to, because I know this playbook inside out. And I know that a lot of the coaching staff did not like when Tony Romo did that, because they wanted him to stick to the script. And Tony Romo was like, nah, I ain't having that. If I feel that this is going to be a positive game, I'm going to throw it here, I'm going to go throw it there, and then we're going to score a touchdown. So Dak Prescott doesn't have that ability and grasps how to take over a game yet. And once he does, then maybe we'll be more successful with that. I'm not going to say that the Cowboys as a whole wasted the talent of Tony Romo, Dez Bryant, and Jason Witten, but I kind of do feel like in a lot of ways they let these guys down and they wasted their talent. And let's not forget about DeMarcus Ware. DeMarcus Ware did go to the Broncos and finally got a Super Bowl, but he should have got it at home. Now, we had all these years of mediocrity. You remember those years before when we didn't really have an offensive line, before Tyron Smith got in the league, before Travis Frederick got here, before Zach Martin was even smelling the NFL. We had a below to average offensive line, and Tony Romo still made stuff happen with what he had. I don't want to talk anything bad about Andre Gerard and Flozell Adams when he was here, because I like those players. I respect what they had. But outside of them, you really didn't have much going on. Doug Free was inconsistent. And, I mean, you look at all the offensive linemen we had in the past decade. Nobody touches what we have now with Smith, Frederick, and Martin. Nobody sees that. And you could tell, like, the whole time through the show, like, the offensive line, we know the offensive line, they're a quiet unit. They don't go out and party. They don't, they rarely even smile when stuff is necessary to smile. They're just sitting there and they got a little smirk, and then they keep it moving. When you see them in their offensive room going over stuff with the offensive coordinator, offensive line coach, they don't say nothing. They just they pack it up and get to work. That's all they do. And I can salute to that, because it's not easy being quiet, especially when you disagree with a lot of stuff, because a lot of them, they just want to just say what they want to say and get it over with. Now, the offensive line, them brothers don't talk. They just get it done on the field. They let their play talk for them. Now, I'm all for when Dez Bryant was talking, but again, you got to do it the right way. And apparently what he was doing and what he was saying did not go right with the coaching staff. And you could tell at the end of the year, this is another reason why I think it took so long to cut him. They were trying to figure out whether they needed him or not. They were going back and forth on, hey, if we cut him, this, and this can happen. But if he stays on the team, then this will continue to happen, and then we'll probably falter on this end. Now, granted, I will always have respect for our former players, Dez Bryant, now Jason Witten, Tony Romo. Like, I have mad love for them. But, again, like I said in the last video, with Jason and Dez being gone, you're going to lose that red zone ability, that red zone able to throw the shoulder fade or put Witten on a short slant and pass it to him coming across the middle of the infield. And like I said, they both have a knack for that red zone, and they know they smell six coming. So I just feel like we gotta find it in these young guys to be that. Now, somebody asked me about Dalton Schultz, and I said, hey, I think that he's a balanced player. He can block. He's a pass catcher as well. Now he ain't gonna be no Jason Witten. I mean, maybe in 10 years, but I mean Jason Witten is rare. Players like him don't come along very often, so you got to cherish the moment. Look at, if you guys watched Witten's retirement press conference, everybody in the damn organization was there. I mean, me personally, I've never seen a press conference, a retirement conference with that many people and that many people showing love. This just goes to show you how good of a stand-up person that he is. I mean, he's done some of the charitable donations with the young kids, the Salvation Army, Albertson's grocery store. I mean, he has so many things that he gives back to, and like I said, he's like the model citizen, the model husband, the model father. He is like that. And me personally, I'm not big on idolizing players or anybody for that matter, because you're just human. You bleed just like I do. But I will say that I got a lot of respect for Jason Witten because of all the things that he's done in the past 15 years. And to that, salute you, brother. I wish him well in ESPN's Monday Night Football, and I know he'll do well. There's no doubt about that. No doubt about that. I think I'm missing something. I think Cole Beasley and T. Will might still be here next year because you need some of that, a little bit of that old regime to help out with the new. I've said this many times before, we were never a rebuilding team. We're definitely getting better. We just needed pieces. Retooling, whatever term that you want to use for it. I like to say adding pieces. All we're doing is adding pieces to the puzzle. The puzzle is there. You can see the picture a little bit in the puzzle, but we just need these couple of players here and there to fill in the gaps. You look at the gaps that we had on defense with linebacker. Hopefully Leighton Vander Esch can fill in a big role with that. You look at the receiver core. Now, we don't have that diva wide receiver nor, but you have a good set of guys that you think that even if they come in to all be average, as long as they're possession catchers and they can run great routes, that's half the battle right there. And the boy Michael Gallup that we got in the 3rd round, he definitely can spread the field and high point the ball. He could do a lot of that. Now, he's not exactly Dez Bryant, but he's scrappy and he's very confident, super confident. So that's with that. And I really enjoyed watching All or Nothing. I really did. If you guys didn't see it, I hope I didn't kind of spoil anything for you. But you got to definitely, if you don't have Amazon Prime, you got to go ahead and get that. Go watch that. It will put things in perspective for you. There's some of the stuff that I've been saying for a while, because I keep it real. And again, in All or Nothing, it's raw. It's basically them in their element. I've never really seen Dak Prescott curse. He cursed a couple of times, and even Jalen Smith. But I guess when you're playing football, it gets tense sometimes, and sometimes you gotta let it out. You just like, fuck, you know what I'm saying? But that's what happens. So I'm gonna stay positive, and I'm hoping for better. But again, if the coaching staff, if with these new players that we have, and new players that we're probably gonna still get, it doesn't matter who you got on this team. If you keep doing the same thing over and over and over again every season, you're gonna get the same results. It's just like when you dating somebody. Ladies, if you keep dating the same type of men, fellas, you keep dating the same type of women, and expect something different. Oh, you need to figure it out, because that ain't the way it's gonna be. You have to step outside the box. You got to do different things. You got to switch it up to be successful in life. Because again, look at the way our world is. Technology changes every 5 years. Hell, how many times? Look at the cell phones that we use. A new cell phone comes out every other, not even every other year, every year and a half or a year. sometimes let it be Apple or whatever. Apple will come out with something new every 6 months, but it do the same thing. But whatever, I'm not gonna get into that. But I just look at it like this: you have to change with the times. You gotta get better. You cannot sit here. Even Des Bryant said in the show, in All or Nothing, he said that when he got into it with Jordan Lewis, he was just like, our offense is so predictable, but you still can't stop me. You know, when you say stuff like that, the coaching staff look at it like, oh, so you think that we ain't nothing, huh? You think that we just here to support you? You think that we don't know how to handle our business? We don't know how to be better? Well, technically they don't, because they haven't. You know, the trick plays that they did do, it's like you look at that and be like, okay, that's cute or whatever, but look, can we just get something together and finish this and fix it and get better? That's my thing. Now, I know I'm long-winded, but I'm done. I just want to quickly say one last thing. Des Bryant is not here because they just got fed up, and it wasn't just his play. It was a lot of his talking and stuff like that. They want you to shut up and get the work in, and that's basically how Jason Garrett runs his team. Coaches were gone because he felt like the coaches didn't get to the players like he wanted to, so he got rid of those guys. You got a lot of the body as far as your coaching staff that's new, and I feel like some of these new coaches are going to be well for this team because, again, everybody's scheme is different. You don't know how to function in certain positions because, again, as males, we have that alpha mentality. You're not going to step in front of me type of thing if you're a dude. But again, all that doesn't matter. You have to make sure that you work on what you got right in front of you, because you can't focus on what's going on over here if you haven't taken care of home. And home is this team. Home is these players. You got to make sure that you get all that you can out of these players, because an NFL career is not long. It's short. You get people like Jason Witten that stay 15 years and only miss one game. That's not common. That's very rare. So, with that being said, I understand why Dez is not here no more. I understand what their thinking was. I don't always agree with everything that they think of, but it is what it is. My biggest concern right now is Dak's maturation as a football player, because, again, if you keep putting him in a box and only wanting him to do certain things, he's never going to get better. So I feel like they're throwing him out to the wolves, so and having somebody to guide him like how Tony Romo did before he retired. Now, if the coaching staff doesn't put things in place for Dak to be successful, I feel like they're going to cut him after the season and then not understand that his potential is actually much higher than you think it is. But because you forgot that he was a 4th round pick, not to make excuses, but he wasn't a 1st round pick for a reason. You know, those things take time. You don't just come right in and be like, I'm the starting quarterback. You know, he did that because of an injury to Tony Romo. But with that being said, let the guy grow. Let Dak grow. Give him a chance. Let him get better. Maybe they got, I don't know. He's always playing catch with the coach. But, I mean, all I'm going to say is, Dak, do your thing. Do your job. Keep balling out. Keep playing. That's it. I got high hopes for him. I think that he'll turn it around. But again, we still got Cooper Rush on this team, and we got Mike White. Let's see what these guys can do in training camp. So that was just a little bit of my thoughts on All or Nothing. Let me know what y'all think. On that note, you already know I keep it real. I don't disrespect nobody. Those of you that have been following me from the beginning know that I'm a real chill and humble guy. I don't talk bad about anybody else's channel. I don't speak ill will on anybody about their feelings, because being a YouTuber is not easy. You know, we're vulnerable. You know, our personal lives are out there. You set yourself up for a lot of criticism and ridicule. Now, you got to be a strong-minded individual to do this. If you're not, then this YouTube stuff will make you go crazy. It really will. But you just got to stay positive. And like me, I'm all about positivity. I'm all about getting better. Just like this football team, I'm trying to be better as a YouTuber myself. You know, I'm learning new things, and like I said, I got some things coming for y'all. I got a new segment that I'm gonna be rolling around in the next couple of weeks. I got to get my crew together for that. So just be looking out for that, y'all. Just hold tight with me. Like I said, I don't speak bad on nobody. I wouldn't want nobody to disrespect me either. Everybody has different opinions. That's why everybody's channel is unique, because if we all thought the same way, we wouldn't be watching YouTube, because it'd just be the same thing over and over again. Yeah, some of us are going to have some of the same information and talk about some of the same stuff, because we're all talking about the Cowboys. And I feel like some of the effort that we put sometimes on each other and bad-mouthing each other, we need to be better as a Cowboy fan base and stick together, because I may not know who you are, you may not know who I am, and you may come from a different background than me or live in a different state than I do, but we all love the same team. We all have different thoughts about it, but we don't have to like fight over it. You know what I mean? Like, it doesn't have to be where we're cursing each other out, because we're technically talking about the same thing, but in different perspectives, if you understand what I'm saying. So, hey, if you want to hate on something, let's get on these other fan bases teams. Let's go at the Eagles. Let's go at the Giants. Let's go at the Redskins. Whatever the team that you're going up against, go up against them. Argue with them. Fight with them. But as far as Cowboys Nation, we all for the same team. There's no reason for us to hate on each other. It's not, as YouTubers, but that's just my opinion. That's just my keep it real moment. I'm sorry to be long-winded with it, but I felt like I'm sorry to be long-winded with it, but I felt like that was something that I needed to say. So with that being said, thanks again to all my subscribers. I appreciate y'all. If you haven't subscribed yet, please support your boys. Subscribe, make love to that subscribe button, and I'll talk to y'all soon. Y'all have a great day.